Potawatomi has the winningest one. WinFest. You could make it an awesome August with a share of $500,000. Play with your rewards card for entries. Hourly drawings every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. 25 grand in cash and prizes each drawing. It's the $500,000 WinFest. Get in on the fun. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at pacebig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Haul away big deals this Thursday through Sunday during Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Get 40 pounds of black oil sunflower seed on sale for $12.99. Save $150 on a Blackstone 28-inch griddle, now just $249.99. Pick up two 40-pound bags of Diamond Crystal Softener Salt for only $10. And get a 27-gallon industrial tote on sale for $6.99. Don't miss out on truckload deals. This Thursday through Sunday only at Fleet Farm.
Covering the crew all season long. It's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studio in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Bob Brainerd.
Okay, maybe it's on me. I went to the ball game last night as a fan, Brewers and Braves, and they won that game. Fell behind, a couple of homers later, big inning. They win. Today I didn't go to the game, so maybe it's on me. But good news, I'm going to the game tomorrow afternoon as a fan as well, so a good chance we can take the series. Brewers and Braves will wrap it up tomorrow afternoon. Hi, it is Bob Brainerd in for Dom on this Tuesday evening as Milwaukee falls to the Atlanta Braves tonight 5-1. Braves got 14 hits in the ballgame against Brewer pitching. Joe Ross, a long time since we've seen him on the hill, got the start tonight. That was good news. The bad news was Ross wasn't sharp, as you might expect. He had some issues trying to get through the first few innings, gave up 4 runs in the third, a single run in the fourth. That was more than enough, as the Brewers are only managed to get a run on 6 hits in this game against Bryce Elder, who didn't come in with anything to speak of, anything to get excited about numbers-wise, but Bryce Elder was very sharp, working all the way into the 7th inning, and when his manager came out to pull him in the 7th inning, he wasn't happy. He wanted to try to finish the 7th inning, maybe even go deeper, but they got the job done, and they even this best-of-3 series now at a game apiece. Later on in the show, we're going to hear from Bally Sports Wisconsin's very own Craig Kashan, and I'm going to kick around the trade deadline with Craig, specifically with Milwaukee, okay? We know that Milwaukee made 3 deals before the trade deadline. Nothing happened today, but the 3 deals that they made were all pitchers. They got 2 starters and a relievers. Aaron Savali, of course, came from Tampa Bay a while ago, and Frankie Montas from Cincinnati. That deal was announced yesterday. He's expected to pitch not tomorrow, but in the Washington series this weekend in D.C. And then Nick Mears, who saw action yesterday and looked good in relief for Milwaukee, he came from the Colorado Rockies. So Milwaukee goes and gets 3 pitchers before the deadline deal, which was 5 p.m. Milwaukee time this afternoon or this evening or what have you. But no deals went down today. And if you were dialed into the Bally Sports Wisconsin broadcast, and Craig can elaborate on this as well, they talked to Matt Arnold about the trades that happened and the trades that didn't happen, and what the thinking was from Milwaukee. And I guess maybe, and you can chime in on this on the TMJ Talk and Text line at 855-616-1620. Did the Brewers do enough, in your mind, going forward? Or did they do just enough, satisfying in your eyes as a baseball fan? Or what's your take? Were the 3 pitchers, was that enough? Did they address the needs there? Or, maybe more specifically, should they have gone out and got a bat? I think because of what happened with Christian Yelich going on the IL and not knowing the timetable if he comes back at all this season. We know that he wants to avoid surgery now, do it in the offseason, that he wants to rest and rehab and try to come back at some point, but that may or may not happen. Even if it does, it's going to be a while. We know the history with Christian Yelich and his back. So were you surprised that the Brewers didn't go out and get a bat or try to trade for a bat. And Matt Arnold did talk about this on the broadcast, on the TV broadcast, that there were inquiries made about trying to get a bat, but it just didn't happen. And I also did a poll. As soon as the trade deadline wrapped up at 5 p.m. Wisconsin time this evening, I took to social media, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and it's still there. If you want to vote, it's still there. I have received 113 votes on this poll. At Bob Brainerd is where you can find it. And what I posted was a simple question. Trade deadline comes and goes. How did Milwaukee do? And the three choices that were are this, because you can still vote. More than enough, just enough, or not enough. Well, the results so far with 113 votes in, 73% of you that decided to chime in on my little X poll, if you will, said not enough. Said the Brewers didn't do not enough. Now, when you're saying not enough, that's what I'm guessing, because it's not specific enough on the poll. But I'm guessing that when you say the Brewers didn't do enough, if you're in that camp, that you know they got Savale, a starter, you know they got Montez coming, who's a starter, and they got Mears, who can help in the bullpen. But if you're voting and saying Milwaukee didn't do enough or not enough, then that's probably why you're leaning that way, because they didn't go out and add to the offense. Matt Arnold talked about it on the broadcast, saying he likes the young hitters, he likes what he has currently on the team, what he has in the pipeline, so they're going to stand pat at that point. Doesn't mean they can't go out and get somebody. Remember when they got Josh Donaldson after the fact? So you can still make some moves, but they didn't go and trade for an established bat that you know would be able to plug and play, especially maybe an outfielder, because they lost Christian Yelich for an undetermined amount of time. Okay, so not enough in the poll, 73%. Just enough, so you're satisfied if you voted just enough with Savale, Mears, and Montez, 24%. And more than enough, only 4%. So only, heck, out of 113 votes, 4%. I mean, there's some math involved there, but that's only a handful. Okay? That said, the Brewers did more than enough in trading for those three bodies that I mentioned. So interesting to see what the temperature was at the trade deadline when everybody that is a baseball fan today was all over social media, constantly refreshing, going over and over to see what their team did. You may have heard Josh on the post-game show prior to Brewers Extra Innings talk about the big winners, perhaps, were the Los Angeles Dodgers. Baltimore Orioles made a lot of moves. Even the Pittsburgh Pirates. And if you're a Brewer fan, I think the two teams in the National League that we just mentioned, that Josh mentioned, Pirates and especially the Dodgers, that's what concerns you, is these are, when it comes to Pittsburgh, this is a team that will be breathing down your neck perhaps, and so they decide that they are close enough that they want to make a run, and we have seen in the past where Pittsburgh doesn't do anything. They stand pat and they don't want to spend the money. Well, they feel like they have some bodies currently hovering around that 500 mark, and they want to make a chase. So they've made some moves to try to make a chase, not only on the Brewers, but perhaps the wild card. And then the Dodgers, of course, being the Dodgers, making all the flurry of moves, the big-name moves when it came prior to the trade deadline. You're concerned about that because, okay, if the Brewers, they stand pat with what they got offensively, fine. Are they able to win the division? Perhaps. Probably. Okay? But now you get to the postseason, and you're looking at teams that have fortified themselves. If the Pirates get in as a wild card, maybe you're facing them along the line in the postseason. And so the Pirates are not only trying to get there, but they're trying to fortify that once they do get there, they have some bodies, they have some arsenal, they have some more weapons in the postseason. The Dodgers, of course, have some weapons going, but they've lost some bodies, and they've been dealing with some injuries. Freddie Freeman's out with some family issues. So they fortify themselves. So when you look at these trades, a lot of times it's not just about trying to get to the postseason. The Dodgers are going to be in. The Brewers are probably going to be in. Pittsburgh is trying to get in, but if they do get in, okay, they feel like they have a better lineup. They have a better offense, and they've got some more arms. They went and got Beeks from the Colorado Rockies. So it's kind of twofold. you got to look at this for the postseason as well. What are these teams doing to not only try to get there, but once they're there, be a team that other teams have to be concerned about? And the Dodgers would definitely be one. You'd be concerned about them even before the trades they made. And the Pittsburgh Pirates now, if they do get in, you have to worry about that. So if you're somebody that's in the camp that went on my poll and voted and said Milwaukee didn't do enough, and that was almost 3/4 of you, of the 113 that voted, then you're concerned because, okay, the Brewers and Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy, they like what they got. And they should like what they have, because what they have has gotten them to this point so far, and in this division, which is not good, they should be able to still win the division unless everything caves in the next 2 months. So you want to show confidence in your guys, but are they going to have enough? And I'm not saying to get there. Are they going to have enough once they get there in the postseason? So we will discuss more of that on the program. We'll hear more from Pat Murphy later on, not only about this game, but about the trade deadline and about his thoughts going forward. We're going to hear from Craig Kashan as well, and I want to hear what Craig's take is on my poll and what Matt Arnold said during the broadcast on Bally Sports Wisconsin, because it was a day where a lot of Brewer fans were hopeful there would be some more moves, and there were none made today. So the three arms, either already here or, in the case of Montez, on their way. We've got more of the show coming up, but with a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank also knows how to hit it out of the park. They've been serving businesses in the area for nearly 15 years, offering industry-specific expertise and local decision-making capabilities to help your business succeed. This is commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association member, FDIC. More of Brewers Extra Innings on a Tuesday night when we return.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. So he said to me, "Boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders." And I said, "You betcha." And he said, "Do you mind if I cherry pick?" And I said, "Feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want." Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
This is Brewers Extra Innings.
The Braves are a winner at American Family Field this evening by the final score of 5-1. They even the best-of-3 series of a game apiece. Tomorrow afternoon is the rubber match between the Brewers and the Braves. Joining us now on Brewers Extra Innings, Bob Brainerd in for Dom on this Tuesday evening. It's Bally Sports Wisconsin's Craig Kashan. Craig, it was all the humidity you could eat at the ballpark, wasn't it? Was it a little gamey in there?
It was. It was. I like to call a night like this in your face because there's no breeze. It's late afternoon and evening where you just stand there and do nothing and sweat's rolling down your back, you know, and it's just one of those nights. Well, but I will say this: every single player that plays this game loves this weather. Yeah. And so I say I love covering this beautiful game that you play from an air-conditioned press box, please.
Yeah. If you're a ball player, if you're out there and you're not in the air-conditioned press box, it's easy to get warm quickly. on nights like that. And Bryce Elder, I mean, you got to give him credit, Craig. I mean, you looked at his numbers coming in, you said, okay, this is one for the taking. But he really stepped up tonight. And when they took him out in the seventh inning, he didn't want to leave then. He was in such a groove.
Well, and I don't think anybody really expected this, but here's the thing. He's really struggled this year. I'm sure you've talked about that already. 1-4, a 6.35. But this guy was an all-star last year for a reason, and he's in the Braves organization. He's been at AAA now for some time, and they called him up, to specifically pitch here in this game. And obviously he's figured out a few things. And, I think we found out on this homestand for maybe at least the third game, if not the fourth game now, that you can't look at any numbers and take anybody lightly. I mean, we all know what happened with Miami coming in here. They really took it to Brewer pitching in the first two games of the series, and the Brewers, played really, really well Sunday, and they had to get the victory there because Miami still put pressure on. Now you get into this game, and it was all about Atlanta pitching. And Elder did a great job. I mean, what did he end up with here? 7 strikeouts. Now, 4 of those were on Jake Bauers.
Right.
So that was a tough night for Bauers here tonight. But, he had the slider going, his changeup going, his sinker going. He mixed everything up really, really well. And, it put the Brewers on their side. I mean, 6 hits, 2 walks, only 8 base runners. Atlanta had 18 base runners here today. So definitely, got to give all the credit, though, to Elders for sure.
Yeah. Flip side for Milwaukee, the good news, you get Joe Ross back, and he takes the hill and he starts. That is the good news. I think, Craig, the results were predictable. You're a little rusty. They didn't want to have the quick hook, the quick leash on him and get him out of there. But I think that's the best way to put it. He looked like somebody who hasn't pitched in a competitive situation for months, and so he was trying to navigate through it in those first few innings, and that 4-run inning that really hurt him right there. So I think Ross can get better, but tonight he kind of looked the part of a guy who hasn't been out there for a while.
Well, he's been rehabbing for a long time, and his last couple of starts in the minors at AAA, he had his 5 up and, 5 down. So, I mean, he was in that 80-90 pitch count range. So I think this one, though, kind of resembled a little bit of what we saw up and down before his injury early this year in April and early May. He did a nice job getting through the first inning, gave up a 1-out single, then a strikeout, and then gets the final out to end the inning on a fly out. And then in the second, a quick 1-2-3 inning, gets the first out to open up the third, a called strike 3. And then it's single, double, single, single, walk. And all of a sudden you look and it's like, okay, you get a strikeout. That's great. And then a 2 RBI single on a 2-out, 2-strike pitch. I mean, those are absolute backbreakers. So, the bottom line is, what pitchers struggle with when they're in a situation where your pitch count's running high in one inning and there's a lot of traffic on the bases, how do you get that final out? And, when you're strike away and then you give up such a big single because it does score 2 runs. I mean, that was an absolute backbreaker by Rosario. So that was tough for Ross for sure. I thought his mixed results really were pretty much kind of what we've seen a little bit of him. I mean, This is still a guy that's trying to battle back, from not pitching, when the Brewers signed him. They kind of took a flyer on him. Is this guy going to work out or not? And I'll be honest with you, we're at the end of July, and they have technically 6 starting pitchers on the staff here right now, and I don't think he can afford to have too many more of these. Let's just put it that way.
No, and that's perfect, Craig, because I want to dovetail right into that. So at the trade deadline, I was talking earlier about the 3 deals that Milwaukee made. They were all for pitchers, and you have 2 new starting pitchers coming in Savali, or already here in the case of Savali, and Montez, who's going to pitch in the upcoming National Series in Washington, D.C. So as far as starting pitchers, you kind of have what you're going to lean on for the next couple months into the postseason. So Savali's going to be one of your guys. Montez is going to be one of your guys. Joe Ross right now is one of your guys. Peralta, who will pitch tomorrow, certainly one of your guys. Colin Ray is one of your guys. That's 5. When DL Hall's ready, you could plug him in if one of them slips, okay? But, again, he's going to have to ramp up. Bottom line here, Craig, all the names that I mentioned are going to have to step up. They're going to have to be, I don't want to say better pitchers than they are, but they have to be consistent, and they have to give you some innings so you don't burn out the bullpen in the next couple innings. Because, again, you can mix and match the 6 names that I just mentioned, but there's not a whole lot of guys that you can say, well, we'll just go get this guy from AAA. This is it. It's find 5 guys of these 6 for the next 2 months.
Well, I think the bottom line is the word you mentioned, consistency. I don't know, to be honest with you, how much more any of these guys can step up, because I think we know who each one of these pitchers are right now. Most of them have been around long enough, and the acquisition of Montes yesterday, we know who he is, even though he hasn't pitched for the Brewers yet. They wouldn't have gone out and gotten him if they didn't expect some good things with him. But I think consistency is by far the key. And I'm telling you right now, it all starts tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon when Freddie Peralta goes out there, because we know what his ability is to pitch really, really well. Unfortunately, it has been too much inconsistency in a variety of ways. High pitch count, trying to be, too perfect at times when it's not needed to be. He can have a 6 shutout innings one game, and then the next, give up 5 walks and a couple of home runs and only pitch 5 innings like he did in the last game. You can't do that no matter who you are. So pitch to the best of your ability and be who you are, and that's got to be on the consistent route. You just have to be consistent. The walks have to go down, the 2-strike, 2-out hits, the key situations. You got to find a way to get that final out. So they have work to do, but this is a working group. I mean, I'm not expecting somebody to step up and be Cy Young in August and September. I don't know if that's really a possibility, and I'm not sure anybody's looking for any of these guys to do it. I just think they need to understand their role, and I think they do, but more importantly, they need to be consistent and be who they are.
He is Craig Kashan from Valley Sports, Wisconsin. More from Craig as we're going to talk trade deadline and the acquisitions the Brewers made and perhaps didn't make as well. For a limited time, Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical offering $10 off an AC tune-up or $10 off an HVAC, plumbing, or electrical service call. At Cider, your home comfort is top priority. Visit Cider.com today. That's SEIDER.com. More of Brewers Extra Innings when we return.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Drive into summer with a beautiful new car from the International Autos Group. Get spectacular savings of up to $20,000, and 0.9% financing is available for 60 months. Every model in our 2,000 car inventory is priced to sell. The International Autos Group, Milwaukee, Waukesha, Sheboygan, and Brown Deer. Or at IAAutogroup.com, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Financing with approved credit, $1,709 per month per $1,000 financed on select models.
An epic Brewers homestand kicks off August 9th, featuring a division duel against the Reds. First place battles with the Dodgers and Guardians, plus 3 giveaway games. Find the game for you at brewers.com/tickets.
This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. We have 2 big humps in this business, right before summer and right after fall. And for us, that's when the lines are the longest. Folks usually choose to do their exterior work during those times, and what I'm trying to do here with this message is level out the flow of business so that we don't have to disappoint anyone come November and December because they were hoping to get their work done before the snow flies. I understand where the focus is during summer, but you know what? It really is a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows, because that's when the lines are the shortest, and it's the one time that we're pretty sure we're not going to get any snow. So if you're looking to get your work done, why put it off? The lines are shorter and we'll be ready. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, call Semper Fi because you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
Atlanta takes care of Milwaukee tonight at American Family Field. 5-1 the final score. Bob Raynard in for Dom on this Tuesday evening on Brewers Extra Innings, joined by Bally Sports Wisconsin's Craig Kashan. So, Mr. Craig, I waited till the trade deadline came and went at 5 p.m. today. Then I went on the, remember Twitter? Remember when they called it Twitter? Remember that?
I still call it Twitter.
I do too. So I went on X or whatever you call it, and I ran a little poll. And it said, trade deadline comes and goes. How did Milwaukee do? I wanted to take the temperature, take the pulse of the fans. Got 117 votes on this. Good poll. 72% said not enough. Said the Brewers did not do enough. 25% said just enough, the three pitchers that we mentioned, Savale, Mears, and Montez. And only 3% said they did more than enough. If you actually went to my Twitter poll and actually cast a vote, what say you? More than enough, just enough, not enough?
I would say just enough because, I know their situation. I mean, I don't think that they're in a position here right now where they want to, give up a lot for, let's just say, a guy like Jack Flaherty. I would love to have had him here. He would have been a rental. But I think the days are gone of getting a rental for something relatively cheap or maybe just one player. I don't know what the Dodgers gave up because I don't know where the Dodgers get all of the players that they do that are stuffed into their minor league system.
Right.
And are incredibly highly rated, and they constantly trade away. It's just stunning to me. But, the Brewers are just not in a position for that. So I'll go with just enough because – here's the thing. I know this much. The three pitchers that the Brewers got in the month of July, all to help this team the rest of the way, Aaron Savale, Nick Mears, and Frankie Montes, are guys that this team wanted. They targeted. Were they number one targets? I don't know that, but they were highly targeted, and they were scouted and they were talked about. A lot goes into this. And so does character, past winning. You got some veterans here. You got a guy in Mears with a lot of ability that's never played on a winning team. So every time they make an acquisition, usually they do it figuring, especially with pitching, that they can make them into Brewer pitchers, that, the defense behind them is as strong as any team in baseball. And this park is not necessarily the big home run park that it used to be. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. So just knowing what I know, I will say, just enough. I don't,
Okay.
That's where I would go.
Yeah. So what I said, Craig, and there's no specifics in this poll, obviously, but my guess is that if a fan goes here and says not enough, if they cast their ballot for not enough, they're saying that because Milwaukee didn't go and get a bat. Because, and we know on your broadcast tonight, Matt Arnold talked about it with the guys in the booth, that they looked into getting some offense to add to this Brewer team. He likes, Matt Arnold does like the guys that he has, but that doesn't mean that he liked them so much that he just said, okay, I'm not going to explore getting some more offense. But when a Brewer fan says that, when they say the Brewers didn't do enough before the trade deadline, my guess is, Craig, that it's because they wanted some offense. They wanted Milwaukee to make a move to get another bat or two into this dugout.
Well, that could very well be, and part of my, thinking on this too, Bob, when we were approaching the trade deadline here in the last week or so, and especially when Yelich went down, I was curious to see, what the clubs thought on their offense was. But let's face it, look what we saw the last 2 days offensively. Granted, there was that little stretch of 5 games where they didn't score a ton. They scored a ton at Minnesota. They came out, really well out of the All-Star break. So, this team is doing doing really well in all three phases of the game here right now. They would not have this big lead in the division if they didn't. So adding another bat, yeah, sometimes that's easier said than done. And then what bat is it that you need? Because the bat's got to play a position, and they've got this team is so interchangeable. You don't have one DH. You don't necessarily have a certain guy in any of the outfield positions. They're all interchangeable as well at this point. Same over at first base. That's kind of a platoon over there as well. So I hear you, but I'm not sure what kind of bat they go get and what they give up to get that bat and where that bat plays.
I agree. I'm just telling you what the poll says, what the people are saying.
It was a good idea. No, I saw it, but I wanted the 117 people to vote. So
and they did,
because I know 116 aren't probably listening to the show right now. So I appreciate that too.
Yes, we appreciate all the fans at 10:37 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Final thoughts, Craig, before we cut you loose because you got an afternoon tilt tomorrow at American Family Field. How do you feel about this? This sounds like the cliche. How do you feel? If you were a tree, but how do you feel? This is the team, like we said about the pitching staff going forward. That these are the starters. We know what the bullpen's going to look like. Maybe you can add some pieces, some minor pieces, even after the trade deadline. But for all practical purposes, this is going to be it for the next couple months. Forget about the next couple months. Let's assume Milwaukee wins the division because they put themselves in a great position to do just that in a division that wants to hand it to them. You feel good about this team in the postseason when we get there in October? I think they're fine as far as winning the division. I think they've got the team to continue to do what they're doing. What about the postseason? What say you?
Well, I mean, if we're jumping ahead to the postseason, I guess I'll just go by how I've been feeling about this team all season long. I think offensively, this team is way ahead and right where they should be from where they've been in the last several postseasons. I mean, let's face it, the offense in the last several postseasons has been AWOL for the most part. Now, part of that is who they're matched up with. I get all that. I'm not, stomping my feet mad here. I'm just saying, I think with the new regime and the younger players and the speed that they have and guys who can put the ball in play, I just think this offense is taking a huge step from what it was not just a year ago, but the last several years. And part of that's the manager. I think Pat Murphy is definitely wants his team to go, man. I mean, he knows what kind of talent he has, and I think he does a really good job of using it to the best of their abilities. So that to me is huge. It's such a key because you have to score runs. You can't lose 1-0 and 2-1 and be down, no score in the 8th inning in some of these playoff games and end up losing heartbreakers like this. I think they're going to be in a better position offensively. So I think, if and when they get there, I definitely like their chances because I really feel like if they get there as well and if they've continued to play like they have the last 4 months over the next 2, pitching-wise, and they figure it out with some of these, new guys and bring some of the injured guys back and whatever the case may be. And if you get Yelich back, those are all huge things. There's so much left of the next 2 months. Just how this team is going to develop and come together compared to what we've seen. This is the fun ride's about to begin. It really is. And the other thing too, Bob, that I'm going to throw out there, getting to the postseason is not going to be like it has been the last 4 months. I am telling you, their schedule is tough. It's the toughest part of their schedules coming in the last 2 months. And it is not going to be easy. And if they win those challenges, they will be the elite team or one of the top 2 elite teams potentially in the National League.
Yeah, good point, Craig. You've got the likes of the Dodgers coming up in August. You've got another West Coast trip. you have to deal with. You got the Phillies on your schedule. You've got the Guardians, who are in first place over in the American League Central Division. You got to go to Atlanta next week. You're right. This schedule, I mean, you talk about the next 2 months, maybe it's not the slam dunk we all think that they're going to win this division because of this very difficult schedule. They try to wrap things up with the Braves tomorrow by taking the series in an afternoon affair. You can catch it on WTMJ Radio, but you can also watch it with Craig Kashan and company on Bally Sports Wisconsin. Craig, it's always good to talk with you, my friend.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
When we come back in Brewers Extra Innings, we will hear from the skipper, Pat Murphy.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Attention high schools. Wisconsin's new Act 60 mandates financial literacy education for all students. Junior Achievement of Wisconsin meets Act 60 requirements, covering budget, savings, investing, and more. Our programs easily integrate into your curriculum, providing both in-person and virtual learning. Find out how you can join the many schools already benefiting from JA's financial literacy programs at wisconsin.ja.org. Junior Achievement, inspiring, preparing, succeeding.
I was stuffed up. It was almost like someone put a clothespin over my nose. As an athlete, it did affect my performance. And as I got older, the congestion and poor sleep really took their toll.
Mike's a lifetime athlete. After hearing about Advent, he felt he could finally find a solution to his breathing triangle problems.
With my congestion, the kind of sleep I was getting wasn't allowing me to function the way I wanted to.
When your nose isn't working like it should be, it's going to negatively affect your sleep. And then you really can't be at your best at anything that you're doing.
It's been about 5 years since coming to Advent. And what balloon sinuplasty did for my quality of life, that step I took was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Balloon sinuplasty can help solve your breathing triangle problems, which will help you sleep better. And that's going to help you live a better quality of life.
Unlock your potential. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment. Because when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
This is Brewers Extra Innings.
And this is Bob Rayner in for Dom on a Tuesday evening. Brewers fall to the Atlanta Braves tonight, 5-1 the final score. So after Milwaukee wins on Monday night, the Braves return the favor on Tuesday evening. Here's skipper Pat Murphy chatting with the local scribes after the ballgame.
I saw a lot of good things, too. You know, the ball came out really good. He's obviously healthy. That was a good feeling. You know, I saw a couple 96s, I think, and the ball had some life early. Those first two innings looked fantastic, and I think the Atlanta Braves had a tremendous approach against them and shot the ball the other way. Really nice approach. Yeah, these are, you know, all-star caliber players shooting the ball the other way and kind of had a definite plan against them. So then we had a ball get down the line and then, you know, just good execution on their half. I thought Joe threw the ball good. Would have liked to seen him, you know, his off-speed be a little better down through it, maybe get a swing and miss there. But I saw a lot of good things. And he sucked it up like a pro and gave us 5 innings to save us.
I know it's sort of a staple with pitchers is the second time through. It's not going to be as good as the first time most of the time. Do you see anything with him that second time through they're just putting better swings on him?
Yeah, I thought they had a good approach, like I said. And I don't think he had that. He didn't have an out pitch tonight, you know, a ball to make you to have to honor swing and miss going down. It kind of stayed on the same plane, you know, so he had this and this. So there's not that punch out you'd like you saw in the first 2 innings. So But yeah, that's something. I mean, every pitcher, right? Like, you get more information, you got to be able to have different things. And, boy, I pull for this kid, man. He's been through a lot, injuries and everything else, and he's a great competitor. And man, he looked great the first 2 innings. I think you guys can agree that was impressive.
Just kind of on that note of the second time through thing, is it a little bit different for him sometimes because he's maybe not like some other guys on the staff who maybe have 5, 6 different pitches that they can go to, and kind of if you don't have one that's working, you don't have as many options to dip into? Yeah, it's accurate. I think that's accurate. But he's made a living being really, really good at, either being at the top of the zone constantly or being low and having that pitch down below the zone. And that didn't happen tonight, but like I said, there was a lot of great things.
Pat, what made Elder so tough tonight when he had a chance there?
He was great. He attacked the zone for one. He did he walk anybody? 2 maybe? Walked 1. Who did he walk? He walked 1. Did he walk Hoskins? Yeah, he did.
Walked Jackson.
Oh, he walked Jackson Churio, or was that somebody else?
He walked Jackson.
Churio.
Oh, he walked Churio.
Walk and scored in the 7th.
Yeah, but that was Elder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they brought him into. Yeah, okay. So sure enough, no, the guy he had that sinker and he had a really good changeup, and the slider wasn't as good, but it was effective at times. I thought he attacked the zone. He worked quickly. He's throwing the ball at like 9 seconds left on the clock. He got the ball, boom, went. It's kind of funky delivery. Pitched well against us last year too, if you remember. Yeah, he was excellent. He was outstanding, and they swung the bat. I mean, they were impressive swinging the bat. So
we talked a lot just about ball strike for the hitters. You guys chased. It was roughly about a third of the pitches you saw out of the zone tonight. Do you feel like you kind of got away from just the good ball?
No, I don't think we got away from it. I think his stuff was such that it was either sinking a lot, coming back, and then the ball in the inner half was sinking a little bit more, and we chased that one. The changeup was a really good pitch out of a kind of a funky spot. He's over the top, but it's kind of a short arm, funky spot. And I think the credit goes to him. I didn't like how much we chased, but I had to chalk it up to how good he was.
That's Brewer manager Pat Murphy. Obviously, a lot of discussion this evening on pitching. Joe Ross making his long-awaited start after rehabbing for months, finally making a start back here in the closing moments of the month of July. And, of course, Bryce Elder, who didn't have impressive numbers but was very impressive tonight, pitching all the way into the 7th inning and leading the Braves, who won it 5-1. When we come back, a compact version of the highlights of this one from American Family Field on Brewers Extra Innings.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years, and for the last 15 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help navigate the complexities of a constantly changing business market environment. With your business in mind, commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
He told us to load 4 yards into his 8-foot bed, but we knew that 3 full, honestly measured yards were going to fill his truck bed to the rim. After we proved that, he told us the other guys had been telling him he's been getting 4 yards in there for years. Honest measurements and honest folks who just want to do you right. So you come back. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. We did the math. When you buy bagged mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Everybody knows, if it's summer season, it's festival season. And Potawatomi has the winningest one, WinFest. You could make it an awesome August with a share of $500,000. Play with your rewards card for entries. Hourly drawings every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. $25,000 in cash and prizes each drawing. It's the $500,000 WinFest. Get in on the fun. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at pacebig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Ready for this?
Get up!
This?
Get up!
And this?
Get out of here! Go!
Time for tonight's highlights. Here's Bob Brainerd.
Well, if you think I'm going to play a bunch of Atlanta Brave highlights, you're wrong. I know they were in Milwaukee at one time, but they're not here anymore. Atlanta got all they really needed in the third inning. They sent 9 men to the plate, producing 4 runs off of Brewers starting pitcher Joe Ross. And then in the fourth, it's another Braves highlight, but we got to give some love. It's a local kid.
Brewers trying to clinch a series win. 1-1. Lifted deep into left field, backing up Chourio all the way back onto the track. Looks up, it is gone. Jared Kelenic brings many Waukesha natives to their feet. It's like a Brewer just hit a home run with this ovation for the local kid.
Yeah, the local kid went 2 for 3 and hit that home run. Walked twice as well, so Kelenic made it 5-0. Brewers, though, spoiled the Bryce Elder and Atlanta Brave pitching shutout this evening in the 7th inning. Gary Sanchez pinch hitting.
The 1-1 coming. Swinging a ground ball left side. That's through for a base hit. Coming around third is Chourio. He will score the Brewers' first run of the game. No throw from Rosario. That's the first hit since before he went onto the injured list for Gary Sanchez. It's a pinch hit RBI single.
Well, good sign there for 99 to get the pinch hit RBI single, but Milwaukee only had 6 base hits in this ballgame, and that single run, they fall to the Braves by the final score of 5-1. When we come back on Brewers Extra Innings, some of your texts and a review of my little Twitter/X poll on the Brewers trade deadline moves.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
Brake issues, electrical issues, 4-wheel drive issues, exhaust issues, and even my car just won't start issues.
You name it, we fixed it.
So the next time you're due for service, drive it on into Richlands and let our ASE certified technicians get you fixed up and safely back on the road.
Nothing warms my heart more than seeing our customers drive out of here with big old smiles on their faces. And all the credit goes to our staff, the most friendly, honest, hard-working, knowledgeable people in the business.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved.
And all staffed by ASE certified technicians, ready to provide you with top-notch service.
And after your vehicle's been serviced, drop us a Google review and let us know how we did.
Because a Google review from you goes a long way. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room. Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Back to wrap up Brewers extra innings on this Tuesday night as Atlanta wins 5-1 at American Family Field. Couple of texts that came in. Positively KS, being positive. It should be mentioned that the Brewers actually did like 5 deadline moves, more or less. He's counting Dallas Keuchel, Savale, Montez, and Mears, of course, that were traded, and then adding Devin Williams, who just came off the injured list. So it's kind of like, you know, you're getting your bullpen ace back. So I guess so. He also says, I'm thrilled they didn't mess with any of the position players. Just weren't all that many needs, if I'm being honest. And then he goes on to say, being positively KS, he says, I also love the message it sends to the young position players by not adding a bat. We believe in you. Let's go. It instills confidence, keeps the amazing clubhouse vibe intact. Yes. So when I did the poll, the prior to, or the, not prior to, but the ending of the trade deadline, I asked their fans, I asked our listeners, the trade deadline comes and goes, how did Milwaukee do? 117 of you voted, and 72% of you said not enough. 25% of you said just enough, and only 3% said more than enough as far as the Brewers were concerned, as far as trading players prior to the deadline. Didn't make any moves today. The deadline was 5 p.m. Wisconsin time. Didn't make any moves up until 5 p.m. But, of course, the moves they made prior to getting Savale, Mears, and Montez, 2 starting pitchers, and a reliever in the bullpen. And, yes, Devin Williams is back because they need him with Trevor McGill currently on the IL. Okay, looking ahead. Afternoon affair at American Family Field tomorrow. 12:35 is the pregame on the Brewers radio network across the state, and 1:10 is the first pitch. Brewers and Braves in the rubber match. It'll be Chris Sale. What a year he is having, an all-star season. 13-3, an ERA of 2.68, and 149 strikeouts. It's the Chris Sale of old. And Freddie Peralta, you heard Craig Kashan with us earlier on the show tonight talking on how Freddie Peralta needs to be a more consistent starting pitcher in these next 2 months. Here is a great challenge tomorrow afternoon in Milwaukee to do just that and establish getting some more consistency. Freddie with a record of 6-6, an ERA of 3.94, and 142 strikeouts. That is the pitching matchup tomorrow afternoon. Again, 1:10 is the first pitch. 12:35 is the pregame show here on 620 WTMJ and the Brewers Radio Network. That'll do it for me on this Tuesday evening. Bob Brainerd in for Dom. Evan's been pushing all the right buttons all evening long here in the studio. I want to thank Craig Kashan from Bally Sports Wisconsin for joining the show as well today. You've been listening to Brewers Extra Innings. Good night, Brewer fans.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee.